It started out like any other Thursday evening. Work had wrapped up early, and for once, I wasn't exhausted. I thought I'd surprise my wife, Emily, with dinner, something simple to remind her that we still mattered. But lately, she'd been different. Distant. Distracted. Her laughter no longer echoed through our home. It lived somewhere on the other end of her phone. Every night she stayed up late, screen glowing against her face, smiling at messages I wasn't part of. I told myself it was just stress. Deadlines. Maybe I was being paranoid. But as I drove home that night, a quiet unease stirred in my chest, and no amount of reason could drown it out. When I pulled into the driveway, the house was dark. Her car was gone. The silence inside felt wrong, hollow, almost foreign. My stomach tightened as I unlocked my phone and opened the location-sharing app we'd installed years ago, back when trust wasn't something we had to think about. Her icon blinked from a bar across town. I wanted to believe it was innocent. Maybe she was with coworkers. Maybe she just needed space. But that small, stubborn voice in my head whispered something different. I grabbed my keys and went back out. The drive felt longer than usual. Every red light mocked me. By the time I reached the bar, my heart was pounding so hard I could feel it in my throat. Inside, the air was thick with the sound of laughter, low music, and clinking glasses. Then I saw her. Emily. Her hair framed her face the way I'd always loved, soft and effortless. She sat at a small table, candlelight flickering between her and another man. He was leaning in close, too close, his hand resting gently over hers as though it belonged there. My body froze. I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. I just watched as she smiled at him, the same smile that used to be mine. There was no hesitation in her eyes, no guilt, no fear of being caught, just happiness. And that somehow hurt the most. For years, I'd stood by her side, through sickness, through debt, through quiet nights when the world felt too heavy and all we had was each other. And there she was, trading it all for someone new. I didn't need to hear her confess. Her actions were louder than any words. I walked to the bar and sat down right beside them. The bartender glanced at me. "Whiskey," I said. "Neat." She didn't notice me at first, too busy laughing at whatever he'd just whispered. But when she finally turned, her face went pale. "David," she breathed, her voice trembling. The man stiffened, confusion flashing across his face. I lifted my glass and said quietly, "Didn't mean to interrupt. Just thought I'd stop by." The silence that followed was deafening. She opened her mouth, searching for something, anything, to say. Nothing came. I reached into my pocket, slid off my wedding ring, and placed it beside her glass. The faint clink it made against the rim cut sharper than any argument ever could. "David, wait," she started, reaching for me, her hand shaking. I shook my head. "You already explained everything." I left a 20 on the counter, turned, and walked away. She called after me, but I didn't look back. Outside, the night air hit me, cool, clean, almost forgiving. Each step toward my car felt lighter. Somewhere between the door and the driver's seat, I realized I wasn't angry anymore. I was free. I drove aimlessly for a while, passing quiet streets and empty parks, until I ended up at the spot where we'd had our first date. I sat there for a long time, staring at the bench where she'd once promised she'd never hurt me. The irony stung, but it didn't break me. My phone buzzed over and over, her name lighting up the screen. Calls. Messages. Please. I didn't answer. Some betrayals don't deserve a response. By morning, I'd blocked her number and called my lawyer. The divorce papers were filed within hours. No drama, no scenes, just signatures and silence. When I left the house, I took only what was mine. My clothes, my old guitar, and a strange sense of calm I hadn't felt in years. People later asked why I didn't confront her, why I didn't make a scene. The truth? She wasn't worth the chaos. I didn't need revenge or closure, just peace. Time moved on. I started running again, traveling, learning how to live for myself instead of for us. Sometimes, When I pass a bar and hear the sound of glass clinking, I think back to that night, not with anger, but with gratitude. Because that sound, the ring hitting glass, wasn't the end of my marriage. It was the sound of me taking my life back. She thought she broke me that night. But in reality, she set me free.